By virtue of the authority entrusted to me, I hereby constitute this assembly as a legal congregation of the University of Pretoria. During this assembly, degrees with all associated rights and privileges will be conferred to the candidates whose names appear in the program. We request that you join us in a silent prayer or meditation to give thanks to the achievements of our students. Thank you. Please be seated. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Allow me to extend a warm word of welcome to all present here today at this truly special event. And today we are celebrating the achievements of our students graduating in the Faculty of Engineering, Built Environment, and Information Technology, better known as EBIT. And a special word of welcome to the Dean, Professor Sunil Maharaj, the Deputy Dean, Professor Yelov, the Deputy Director in the Department of Enrollment and Student Administration, Dr. Elmarie Lebenberg, the Deputy Minister of Public Works and Infrastructure, the Honorable Ms. Nokolo Kivit, and welcome to all chairpersons of schools, heads of academic departments, directors, emeriti and honorary professors, and other lecturers and spouses. Welcome to the representative of the Student Representative Council, Ms. Sita, who's with us this morning, who will present the SRC academic honorary colors, and to all those to whom degrees will be conferred this morning. Welcome to all of you, ladies and gentlemen. Then, most importantly, I would like to extend a special word of welcome to the parents and family and friends of our graduating class this morning. Ladies and gentlemen, this ceremony would not have happened if it were not for their support that has led to the achievements of our students. I believe that you are our VIP guests indeed. And let me congratulate you on the immense input that you have made, making this day a reality for all our beloved students or graduates this morning. Can you have a hand of applause, please? During this spring graduation period, the whole of this week, 1,582 qualifications will be conferred on candidates at this university. And this morning alone, we have 159 degrees that will be conferred, and of these, no less than 138 postgraduate degrees, including 11 doctorates. This high number of PhDs is firmly in line with our institutional vision and goal of improving our remarkable international standing, of which postgraduate throughput is an important measure. The EBIT faculty, ladies and gentlemen, at this university is the only faculty in South Africa that offers the unique combination of the three fields of engineering, built environment, and IT. This places us in a position to address social challenges and through exceptional multidisciplinary research. There are 13 NRF-rated researchers in this faculty, and of course the NRF, as some of you know and some may not know, it has a rating system which is very important for local international benchmarking in terms of scholarship and science. It encourages researchers to publish their high quality inputs in high impact journals worldwide. I beg your pardon. They say water gives you life. And it is these rated scientists and researchers who add to our faculty's profile. And similarly, it is these academics who play a crucial role in imparting their outstanding skills to the next generation of researchers and postgraduate students. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, the number of doctoral candidates that we have today that will pass through this stage are testimony to that. We're very proud that this quality permeates in our undergraduate and postgraduate offerings in the faculty. EBIT is actively contributing to the development of our industry. 7 out of the top 10 occupations in high demand in South Africa are based on study programs presented in this faculty. 7 out of 10, that's like 70%. According to the 2018 ISI Essential Science Indicators, the UP School of Engineering is in the top 0.5% in the world. I'm going to repeat that. It's quite significant. According to the 2018 ISI Essential Science Indicators, the UP Faculty of School of Engineering is in the top 0.5% in the world. And according to the QS rankings, the faculty ranks in the top 375 in the world for engineering and technology. And for architecture and the built environment, this faculty ranks in the top 200. And I would like to give the Dean and the faculty a hand of applause for this remarkable achievement. This truly sets us apart in the world. We are taken seriously as a university. And EBIT is ranked in 5 subject categories in the QS World University Rankings. And these categories are architecture and built environment, chemical engineering, electrical and electronic engineering. I believe that's what our dean specializes in. We do all these wires that create problems. Mechanical and aeronautical and manufacturing engineering. And these are the top 5. In addition, this university produces almost a third of all engineers who graduate in South Africa. 1/3. With such excellent results, it is little wonder that the University of Pretoria is the university of choice for South Africa's top performing school leavers. Of the 9,800 new first year students, that is in 2019, we just over 40% had an academic average of above 80% in the final school examination. Almost 9% of these achieved an average above 90%. Sometimes I wonder when I look at these scores of our students, and most of them are women or young women, and I wonder whose children are these? They are so bright, you know. So 90%, really 9% of our. Last month, about 14,000 grade 12 learners from across the country attended the university's annual #ChooseUP Day, along with their parents and and other family members or friends. And these learners have been provisionally accepted for study at this university for 2020. They visited the university's different campuses where they were provided with information on why they should choose UP as their place of study. They were given a little teaser of what it means to be a student at a leading university such as ours. It was a privilege for me to be present on the day and to experience the palpable excitement of a different generation of UP students. These students are not just different because they represent new intake of first years that we'll have in 2020. They increasingly have different needs and face different challenges than did the cohorts of students that came before them. Known as the Generation Z, they will be the ones to serve the massive disruptive changes that will be brought about by the technological advances in this fourth industrial revolution. As a university, we have an obligation to drive the development of new technology that will shape our world in the immediate future. At the same time, we have a duty to ensure that the graduate we produce will be able to thrive in the world. And ladies and gentlemen, the University of Pretoria is already fully engaged in grappling with the challenges and opportunities of digital transformation. We are collecting ever larger sets of data and using these to inform our day-to-day decision-making and long-term planning. Technology is not only adding value to our cutting-edge research endeavors. For instance, in the example of the transplant of the 3G the printed middle ear bones that recently made headlines, but also in the professional services that support our academic endeavor. You've probably all heard of our newest member of staff, Libby, the library robot. She's a world first and is changing the way we go about doing our business in the library. So parents, if you go to the library, there's a little human being called Libby there, it's a woman. Then they give you directions, you greet them. So it's technological advances that we talk about. And the academics in this faculty focus on 5 key research clusters that will substantially impact the world in crucial areas captured by the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. And these are in energy, environmental engineering, or water, big data science, ICT, technology innovation and management, materials and mineral beneficiation, and smart cities and transportation, the big projects. Apart from international collaboration with scholars at other institutions, the faculty and the university also view partnerships with industry, and these, of course, are very indispensable to us to ensure that our research is relevant and our academic programs are truly assisting and equipping our students to enter the world of work. The university is positioned at the forefront of engineering science precisely because of its academic and industry partnerships. And I also wish to commend and applaud the industry for opening their doors to the faculty and our students to make a difference in this country. But ultimately, what we do at the university is about more than producing employable graduates and developing sustainable solutions for the world of the future. Don't get me wrong, the faculty does this exceedingly well. But we also aim to instill in our graduates a sense of responsible citizenship and well-rounded character. For this reason, we firmly believe that a vibrant student life is essential for the personal growth and wellness and professional development of our students, both at undergraduate and postgraduate levels. And I therefore trust that each graduate will have made use of the multiple meaningful opportunities for personal growth through the various clubs and societies, houses, committees, structures, activities, and student life events during their time at UP, because this assists to mold you as a person going to interact with other people outside. And ladies and gentlemen, allow me to conclude with a short message to our students or our graduates this morning. Today, we unlock a world of uncapped potential. It is in your hands to shape the future of our country and continent. Your choices are limitless. You may go out into the world and make today and every day matter by living the UP way. That means embracing the ethos of excellence, perseverance, respect, creativity, innovation, diversity, growth, kindness, and making a difference. And in the words of the acclaimed author Jim Collins, I quote, "Greatness is not a function of circumstance. Greatness is largely a matter of conscious choice and discipline." Close quote. As we celebrate our relentless work and discipline, your achievement and your hard-earned reward, I wish to extend congratulations from our Chancellor, Professor Wiseman Kuthu, and our Vice Chancellor, Professor Tawana Kupe, and of course, the whole team in the executive to the graduating class, along with the dean of the faculty and deputy and everyone else in the faculty. We are truly delighted with your remarkable achievement. Please accept our heartfelt congratulations for achieving this milestone. I also wish you all the best in your future journey, be it continuing with your studies here at this university or by excelling in workplaces when you are employed. For those of you who enter the workplace, remain committed and to your alma mater by supporting our alumni initiatives. I said yesterday to the graduating class in this faculty, we know you are going to make a lot of money. We know that for a fact. So when you start making money, please remember your university. We'll put the money to good use to assist other students and other programs. And all of the best to you, and make today matter, and I thank you. I will now request the Dean to introduce to me the candidates present whose names appear in the program.
Mr. Vice Principal, the following candidate has complied with the requirements for the degree Master of Architecture. Caitlin Porter. Mr. Vice Principal, the following candidate has complied with all the requirements for the degree Master of Science in Real Estate. Elaine Dumbarimwe. Riochile Makobe. Lebohang Sekhabi. Master of Science in Retail Property, Johan Pretorius. Mr. Vice Principal, the following candidates have complied with all the requirements for the degree Master of Town and Regional Planning. Maria Amulungu. Raymond Habimana. Chuene Lechodi. Ndihano Matabishi.
Come back here.
Tandolwetu Mazwi. Klo Modiba. Peggy Mpeti. Mr. Vice Principal, the following candidate has complied with all the requirements for the degree Bachelor of Science Honours in Quantity Surveying. Machadiso Moeti. Bachelor of Science Honours in Construction Management. Chendine Barnard. Morne Langa. Ruben Mulman. Maria Filion. Mr. Vice Principal, the following candidates have complied with all the requirements for the degree Bachelor of Science Honours in Quantity Surveying. Hendrik Branders. Armand Cronier. Daniel Kotzer. Jacques Krier. El Shaddai Leach. Mishlajli Mankochiawa. Nico Makoka. Relebochile Moshlashla. Albert Mayberg. Tian Skippers. Vieja Venter. Wijnand Vermaak. Mr. Vice Principal, the following candidates have complied with all the requirements for the degree Bachelor of Science Honours in Real Estate. Amanda Mzimela. Lizanne Paulson. Mr. Vice Principal, the following candidates have complied with all the requirements for the degree Bachelor of Science, Construction Management. Wihan Engelbrecht. Sammy Mahangana. Jan Trollop. Bachelor of Science in Landscape Architecture, Coco Matemoso. Bachelor of Science in Quantity Surveying, Wayne van der Merwe. Dale Harris. Nisisa Sibanda. Bachelor of Science in Real Estate, Fabiano Matillo. Mr. Vice Principal, the supervisors will now introduce the doctoral candidates in the School of IT.
Mr. Vice Principal, I introduce to you Anna Sergeyevna Busman, who has complied with the requirements for the degree Doctor of Philosophy in Computer Science with a thesis titled Fitness Landscape Analysis of Feed-Forward Neural Networks, prepared under the supervision of Professor A.P. Engelbrecht and myself as co-supervisor. Neural network training is a highly non-convex optimization problem with poorly understood properties. Due to the inherent high dimensionality, neural network search spaces cannot be intuitively visualized, which necessitates the employment of other means to establish search space properties. In her thesis, Fitness Landscape Analysis of Feed-Forward Neural Networks, the promovenda applied fitness landscape analysis techniques to gain insight into the nature of neural network search spaces. A novel gradient-based sampling technique was proposed, together with a novel method to quantify and visualize the modality of neural network area landscapes. The proposed method created two-dimensional projections of complex multidimensional search spaces and enabled the empirical and visual investigation. Using the proposed method, empirical evidence for existing theoretical conjectures was obtained, contributing to the fundamental understanding of neural networks. Mr. Vice Principal, I request you to confer the degree on the candidate.
I hereby confer the degree Doctor of Philosophy with all its associate rights and privileges on the candidate.
Mr. Vice Principal, I introduce to you Francois Maton, who has complied with the requirements for the degree Doctor of Philosophy in Computer Science with a thesis titled Social Engineering Attack Detection Model, prepared under my supervision. In his thesis, the promovendus developed a model that can be utilized by individuals to equip themselves with the necessary knowledge to detect and not fall prey to social engineering attacks. The thesis also addressed gaps in the field of social engineering by proposing an ontological model for social engineering attacks, guidelines for the ethical concerns of social engineering, a social engineering attack framework, and a set of social engineering attack examples. Ultimately, the study proposes a refined social engineering attack detection model that can be utilized by industry to be implemented either into their working environment or used as a social engineering awareness training tool. The model could also be used as a comparative measure for future social engineering attack detection models. Mr. Vice Principal, I request you to confer the degree on the candidate.
I hereby confer the degree Doctor of Philosophy with all its associate rights and privileges on the candidate.
Mr. Vice Principal, I introduce to you here is Peter Scher, who has complied with the requirements for the degree Doctor of Philosophy in Computer Science with a thesis titled Evaluation and Identification of Authentic Smartphone Data, prepared under my supervision with Dr. Renier van Heerden as co-supervisor. The current reliance on and ubiquitous use of smartphones render these devices rich sources of digital data. The data becomes increasingly important when smartphones form part of security incidents or criminal cases. Digital data is, however, susceptible to change, emphasizing the need to evaluate the authenticity of smartphone data before submitting the data as digital evidence. In her thesis, Evaluation and Identification of Authentic Smartphone Data, the promovenda proposed a model approach to evaluate and identify authentic data on smartphones. The approach introduced a smartphone data evaluation model that stipulates the evaluation process of smartphone data using newly established requirements. A classification model was also developed to describe the completeness of the evaluation and assigned a grade of authenticity to the evaluated smartphone data. The outcome of this thesis provides a scientific and strategic approach for evaluating and identifying authentic smartphone data, offering assistance to digital forensic professionals. Mr. Vice Principal, I request you to confer the degree on the candidate.
I hereby confer the degree Doctor of Philosophy with all its associate rights and privileges on the candidate.
Mr. Vice Principal, I introduce to you Distant Stroll Shiweza, who has complied with the requirements for the degree Doctor of Philosophy in Information Science with a thesis titled Information Behavior of Doctors in Malawi and Evidence-Based Medicine Perspectives, prepared under my supervision. Essential health delivery services must be supported by evidence-based medicine in order to improve the lives of ordinary people in developing countries like Malawi, which are faced with a high disease burden and poor doctor-to-patient ratio. In his thesis, Information Behavior of Medical Doctors, an evidence-based medicine perspective, Wilson's 1996 model of information behavior and the EBIT model were used as frameworks. 4 stages of defining doctors' information needs were identified. The information seeking and searching of doctors are influenced by Malawi's unique macro and micro contextual challenges, which negatively affect the extent of EBM application. Personal ethos, searching skills, and the use of mobile technology determine responses to intervening variables and activating mechanisms in hard-pressed clinical contexts. The study findings open new debate on EBM modeling, doctors, the difference between literate and illiterate patients, and socio-economic conditions in poor countries. Mr. Vice Principal, I request you to confer the degree on the candidate.
I hereby confer the degree Doctor of Philosophy with all its associated rights and privileges on the candidate.
Mr. Vice Principal, I introduce to you Nsako Boloy, who has complied with the requirements for the degree Doctor of Philosophy in Information Systems with a thesis titled A Data Privacy Framework for Cyber Physical Systems and the Internet of Things for Information Technology Professionals, prepared under the supervision of Professor Paula Kotze and myself as co-supervisor. Information privacy is a serious concern in the fourth industrial revolution, particularly as technologies that are the enablers of the 4IR have a strong reliance on data. The collection and use of data through 4IR enabling technologies, especially those with sensing capabilities such as cyber physical systems and the Internet of Things, present unique privacy challenges when it involves personal data. In his thesis, A Data Privacy Framework for Cyber Physical Systems and Internet of Things for Information Technology Professionals, the promovendus proposed a novel way to address privacy compliance by organizations using 4IR technologies. The framework addressed legal, technical, and organizational mechanisms to enable privacy compliance. Legal compliance guidelines and sets of benefits, risks, and controls are proposed based on a combination of organizational and technology architectures to empower information technology professionals who are not experts in privacy law to undertake privacy compliance initiatives for CPSs and IoT technologies in their organizations. Mr. Vice Principal, I request you to confer the degree on the candidate.
I hereby confer the degree Doctor of Philosophy with all its associated rights and privileges on the candidate.
Mr. Vice Principal, I introduce to you Indrina Harmse, who has complied with the requirements for the degree Doctor of Philosophy in Information Technology with a thesis entitled Armstrong A-Boxes, the Application of Armstrong Relations to Description Logics, prepared under my supervision and the co-supervision of Professor Katerina Bretz. In her thesis, Armstrong A-Boxes, the Application of Armstrong Relations to Description Logics, the candidate investigated a significant challenge in ontology engineering, namely the mismatch in expertise between the ontology engineer and the domain expert. This challenge often leads to important constraints in a domain not being specified. Domain experts tend to only focus on constraints that should hold and not on specifying constraints that could possibly be violated. In an attempt to bridge this gap in ontology engineering, this thesis introduced the notion of Armstrong A-boxes for description logic ontologies. An Armstrong A-box represents perfect test data in the sense that it satisfies all the required constraints of an application domain while violating all the constraints that should be violated. This thesis formalizes Armstrong A-boxes for two classes of constraints, for which it defines algorithms and proves related theoretical results. Evidence of the viability of Armstrong A-boxes is provided by the results of applications that implement the introduced algorithms and running the implementations on representative input data. Mr. Vice Principal, I request you to confer the degree on the candidate.
I hereby confer the degree Doctor of Philosophy with all the associated rights and privileges on the candidate.
Mr. Vice Principal, I introduce to you Pierre Henley Leroux, who has complied with the requirements for the degree Doctor of Philosophy in Information Systems with a thesis titled Enterprise Architecture as Conceptual Framework to Support Small to Medium Enterprise Growth, a South African study, prepared under my supervision and Prof. Rona Gerber as co-supervisor. In this thesis, the Provendus based his research on the fact that successful small and medium enterprises are important contributors to a country's economic success and job creation. Numerous studies have attempted to understand SME growth, but holistic models for explaining and supporting SME growth are lacking. This study contributes towards the support of SME growth for enterprise architecture concepts and framework as basis. The study positions EA as a basis for understanding SME growth using EA principles to identify patterns of focus on organizational elements and concepts during growth end, and based on the patterns of focus, identifying EA framework elements and concepts for a conceptual support framework for SME growth. The study presents a conceptual support framework and execution methodology for SME growth. Mr. Vice Principal, I request you to confer the degree on the candidate.
I hereby confer the degree Doctor of Philosophy with all its associated rights and privileges on the candidate.
Mr. Vice Principal, I introduce to you Elizabeth Venter, who has complied with the requirements for the degree Doctor of Philosophy in Information Systems with a thesis titled Towards Improved Information Systems Executive Proficiency, a Supply-Demand Analysis, prepared under my supervision. The rate of change brought about by information systems, or IS, due to change in competitive business models and consumer behavior, calls for a more innovative business approach. On the other hand, staff members expect a seamless working environment and have little tolerance for slow processing, downtime, and long-winded business processes. Predictions of the impact of the fourth industrial revolution adds to the challenges IS executive faces in meeting the demand of these ecosystems. In her thesis Towards Improved Information Systems Executive Proficiency, a Supply-Demand Analysis, the promovenda identified the gaps between what is supplied by individuals, what business demands, and what experts write about informally. Management, IT management, and security concerns were identified as the three top-ranking proficiency required. An IS executive proficiency framework has been developed to help bridge these gaps, and a call is made for closer collaboration with the human resources team while cultivating a more futuristic and strategic view. Mr. Vice Principal, I request you to confer the degree on the candidate.
I hereby confer the degree Doctor of Philosophy with all its associated rights and privileges on the candidate.
Mr. Vice Principal, the following candidates have complied with all the requirements for the degree Master of Information Technology. Louis Marie Dreyer. Taryn Lotz. Lorna Lowe with distinction. Mamuku Mokowe. Pulana Ngwasheng. Nkosa Maria Nungu. Mr. Vice Principal, the following candidates have complied with all the requirements for the degree Master of Information Technology, ICT Management. Jamie Hurst. Sidwell Ricozzo. Master of Information Technology in Information Systems, Tenjiwe Sitole. Mr. Vice Principal, the following candidates have complied with all the requirements for the degree Master of Science in Computer Science. Adekunle Adekoya with distinction. Philippus Bosman with distinction. Divan Berger with distinction. Werner Haucher with distinction. Daniel Hubert with distinction. Mr. Vice Principal, the following candidates have complied with all the requirements for the degree Bachelor of Information Science Honours in Information Science. Fizile Nkosi with distinction. Bachelor of Science Honours in Computer Science, Tokozile Mabuza. Goodwill Monoto. Joshua Mudley. Kudakwashe Nharo. Nikaden Suklal. Gerhard van Veek. Mr. Vice Principal, the following candidates have complied with all the requirements for the degree Bachelor of Science in Computer Science. Connor Duploy. Tato Motusi. Nkosenshle Nkube. Bachelor of Information Science in Information Science, Moipone Mamwekwa. Bachelor of Information Science in Multimedia, Van Blerk Havenga. Rolf Gackelhofer. Bachelor of Information Science in Publishing, Hato Seboja. Lene Struber. Bachelor of Science, Information Technology in Information and Knowledge Systems, Innocentia Boschomane. Renato Jesus. John Ojo. Minal Pramlal. Bachelor of Information Technology, Bonolo Ramaja. Mr. Vice Principal, the supervisors will now introduce the doctoral candidates for you in the School of Technology Management.
Mr. Vice Principal, I introduce to you Alfred Mutitswa Chitongu, who has complied with the requirements for the degree Doctor of Philosophy in Project Management with a thesis titled Competition Between Key Participants During Project Execution, a System Dynamics Approach, prepared under my supervision. Project management is widely used in almost every organization, yet many projects continue to be poorly managed. The use of competition as a conflict handling style aimed at win-lose end results is a common challenge during project execution. In his thesis, the promovendus proposed a novel system dynamic simulation model of competition between two key project participants, the client and engineering consultant. The research followed a mixed methods design incorporating the system dynamics approach. The results of simulations and impact analyses suggested that the competition aimed at win-lose results negatively influenced both project performance, the client's interest, and the engineering consultant's project business performance, lose-lose long-term results. The counterintuitive results highlighted the dynamic complexity of competition. Policy optimization results suggest key interventions that improve competition, enhance both project performance and the engineering consultant's project business performance, the win-win long-term results. Mr. Vice Principal, I request you to confer the degree on the candidate.
I hereby confer the degree Doctor of Philosophy with all its associated rights and privileges on the candidate.
Mr. Vice Principal, I introduce to you Skalk Grobelaar, who has complied with the requirements for the degree Doctor of Philosophy in Engineering Management with a thesis titled Evaluating the Management, Measurement and Prediction of Business Competitiveness, prepared under the supervision of Professor J.K. Visser and myself as co-supervisor. A company is a complex system that operates within an even more complex ecosystem. Companies to survive and grow, they must remain competitive. To achieve this, companies should understand how they influence and are influenced by the ecosystem. In his thesis, the promovendus proposed that multiple correlation tests should be used to identify quantifiable predictors of financial competitiveness for businesses. To test this proposition, 2 case studies were performed. The first on sawmilling companies in South Africa, and the second on companies listed on the Johannesburg Stock Exchange. multiple correlation tests illustrated that it is possible to identify quantifiable predictors of financial competitiveness. These predictors, in combination with decision-making techniques, can be utilized to predict the financial competitiveness of a company or group of companies. Mr. Vice Principal, I request you to confer the degree on the candidate.
I hereby confer the degree Doctor of Philosophy with all its associated rights and privileges on the candidate.
Mr. Vice Principal, I introduce to you Nodia Peter Scribanti, who has complied with the requirements for the degree Doctor of Philosophy in Engineering Management with a thesis titled An Investigation into Requirements Volatility Using System Dynamics Modeling, the Design of a Requirements Engineering Research Tool, prepared under my supervision and Dr. S.J. Bernardi as co-supervisor. The challenges in the requirements engineering domain can be traced to several factors, including that the requirements engineering domain is a complex socio-technical system. This complexity makes research in this field difficult, since it is not possible to set up a research experiment if the researcher is not involved and if the experiment cannot repeatedly produce the same outcome. In his thesis, the promovendus proposed a novel design for a requirements engineering research tool by following a design science research methodology. The research methodology and method developed are also applicable to the requirements engineering domain, the larger complex research domain, and the complex socio-technical research domain. A further contribution of the research is the development of an elicitation diffusion model for requirements engineering. Mr. Vice Principal, I request you to confer the degree on the candidate.
I hereby confer the degree Doctor of Philosophy with all its associated rights and privileges on the candidate.
Mr. Vice Principal, the following candidates have complied with all the requirements for the degree Master of Engineering in Engineering Management. Anya Talyard. Carl van den Ordel. Master of Engineering in Project Management, Lizzie Duplessis with distinction. Master of Engineering in Technology Management, Desmarie Moulineau. Mr. Vice Principal, the following candidates have complied with all the requirements for the degree Master of Science in Engineering Management. Tennyson Mayambo. Master of Science in Project Management. Muketsi Moho. Nora Nyambia. Oliver Amuteke. Nkhonitsashe Komo. Nomza Langa. Lebohang Lekanya. Nontando Mkize. Bongani Ngwenya. Vincent Ojijo with distinction. Ayanda Zondi. Master of Science in Technology Management, Doris Lesenyeho. Lo Marin. Master of Science in Technology and Innovation Management, Sekiola Mamabollo. Teenage Mozzoeselle. Mr. Vice Principal, the following candidates have complied with all the requirements for the degree Bachelor of Engineering Honours in Engineering and Technology Management. Kutso Bapella. Duruzile Chinyamakobu. Christian Dutoy. Ntokozo Mazibuko. David van Wyk. Taryn Wheatley with distinction. Bachelor of Engineering Honours in Technology Management, Tandi Badi. Mr. Vice Principal, the following candidates have complied with all the requirements for the degree Bachelor of Science Honours in Engineering and Technology Management, Asanda Adams. Rolf Chabango. Lekoapa Celle. Leighton Chirwa. Aldrin Christians. Mukesh Dayanand. Neo Dubazana. Quinza Class. Alavane Liebenberg with distinction. Heavy Mabunda. Fumzile Mashillo. Xolofello Mataboche. Welcome Matomela. Teboho Matsapa. Refiwe Macha. Muriel Medupe. Lucy Mgidi. Lereng Moho. Palesa Mpello. Mokonde Mapiri. Smanchele Mjalli. Mzwandile Ntenga. Morwasheko Sebapu. Clement Okpoko. Mugabe Sepeng. Ndivuho Shikomba. Mr. Vice Principal, the following candidates have complied with all the requirements for the degree Bachelor of Engineering Honours in Technology Management. Cyril Brown. Mohau Chachane. Amanda Dube. Madinkoanyane Malesela. Tsepo Firi. Nkabakazi Yokwana.
It is truly amazing if you look at the spread of these qualifications and their importance. And let us give our graduates a big hand of applause. Thank you very much. And I would like to ask our graduates to applaud their families, friends, and spouses for the support they received over the years. Thank you, but I see others who didn't graduate are clapping hands too. So, thank you anyway. We are hopeful that you will come and graduate. Ladies and gentlemen, we have now come to the end of the proceedings. And before we close, I wish to invite all present here for refreshments afterwards at the foyer of this building, the aula. And you are requested to stand for the singing of the national anthem and to remain standing until the assembly has been dissolved and the academic procession has left the auditorium. For those of you who need the words of the national anthem, they are printed on the inside back cover of the program. Please rise. By the powers vested in me, I hereby dissolve this assembly of the University of Pretoria.
Gabbiamo signor,